What's up, everyone? This is Anna Rumor over at Comicbook.com. We're here at San Diego Comic-Con. We're here with Joe Manganiello to talk Death Saves and D&D. You know, like, what cooler stuff could we be talking about today?
Nothing really.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, other than my movie, which came out today, which is actually playing on the screen behind us.
Yeah, that's some serious product placement.
Harmless plug, yeah.
Yeah. So
they put it on, not me.
Yeah, I believe you soon. So let's talk Death Saves. I mean, we've got some awesome merch coming out here. What inspired you to roll that out and to, you know, bring that into the culture?
Well, this party is the 1-year anniversary party. We launched last year at Comic-Con, right here at Bait, in the middle of Comic-Con, and it took off. I mean, I wasn't sure if people were going to line up. I wasn't sure if people shared my same love of the 80s heavy metal, Frank Frazetta art aesthetic. I wasn't sure if that was just a thing of the past, if the Satanic Panic
We're still doing that.
sort of mowed that down and took that away and ruined people's appetite for it. But what I found out was that the people were hungry for it. They wanted it to make a comeback, and so here we are. That's really why I started it. I just wanted to make some badass fantasy heavy metal themed gear for me and all the people like me to wear, because there really just wasn't a lot of it out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, tying into that fantasy and making it kind of badass, you've kind of come out as like the Hollywood face of D&D. I mean, yeah,
okay,
right? And you're kind of striking down the stereotypes of who plays D&D. It seems like we can all kind of come out of our corners and admit that we play it now. How have you seen the culture change towards that?
Well, I think it has changed a lot, and I'm glad. I hope that me and my home game, people can follow Instagram and see who's playing in my weekly home game, and it's a wide range of entertainment professionals. We all grew up with the game, and now we're working as professionals. But it is who you think it would be. And it is, I guess, who you wouldn't think it would be. Right. You know, like last year, I put a game together with The Big Show. 3-time WWE champion, the Giant, and he grew up playing D&D. He played an elf when he was a kid and told me all about the magic items he had and the battles that they fought. And so it's like, we got to get you back in. So my home game at my house in my basement, I turned my wine cellar into a dungeon.
Oh, it's badass.
Yeah, and it's become this way station for people who grew up playing the game, or even like comedians, actors, movie stars who haven't played yet, who want to play. So you know, I haven't really turned the cameras on in that room because I just want it to be this really secret basement game where everybody from Hollywood could come over and play without, you know, and get back into the game.
Right. Well, and it's such a creative game, and like you're a creative guy, and these are creative people. How do you think that all kind of ties in and lends itself to dramatics?
Well, it does. I mean, as kids, little did I know I was the showrunner of my own show when I was a kid, dungeon mastering and running games. And funny enough, like one of the creators of Game of Thrones plays in my game, and he played as a kid. So, you know, there really it is. You can see where the roots of it were. We all grew up figuring out how to tell stories and build characters with this game, and then wound up being able to do it for a living. So it's awesome that now our poker night is this Dungeons and Dragons night rather than poker, where we get to build a bridge back to our own childhood, but also like the games are completely different now. As adults and as professionals and as actors and as directors, people put on voices. Like, I mean, it's a whole backstories. It gets really serious. There's a lot of yelling and cheering, much to the chagrin of my wife at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is she getting in on the games at all?
Nah, man, that's not her thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very opposite.
Maybe later.
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, she always threatens to explain to me whenever I start talking about, she says, how did the game go? And I go, oh man, you won't believe this happened and that happened and this guy missed this dice roll and then she's like, okay. Like, do you want me to go get my earrings?
Yeah.
And bring them out here and explain them to you for half an hour? And just, I get it.
Hard pass. Yeah. And you've got probably the most badass game of D&D in Hollywood, maybe the country. But who would be on like your fantasy party list? Living or dead?
Oh man, living or dead. Yeah. I mean, if like Tolkien could come over and run a Middle Earth themed game for us, that would be amazing. Having Luke Gygax, Gary's son, come over and run some unpublished dungeon that he found of his father's, that was incredible.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine calling up Gary and having Gary run Tomb of Horrors,
right?
Or something. I mean, that would be,
Pressure.
that's the number one on the guest list. But what's been amazing is the variety and the types of people that have played at my house and want to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really fun seeing who those people are. And even like this past weekend, I was getting messages passed to me. Oh, so and so wants to come over and play, and it's like, okay, well, tell them to call me. Like, I'll give him my number. That's fine.
Yeah, everyone wants to play. No one wants to DM.
That's cool. Well, even for me, I'll DM. I run the. I'm fine. I'm happy doing that. But it's funny. Like nowadays, I'll go to studio meetings with executives, and I'll walk in, and we're there to talk about some project, and they'll close the door, and then make sure it's it's locked, and they'll come over and say like, so I used to play Dungeons and Dragons when I was a kid. Do you think I could come up? It's like people are like coming out to me in secret. Yeah. But I think it's fun because when I was a kid, it wasn't. You couldn't. If you said you played, you were opening up the door to scrutiny that maybe you did not want to invite in. You were maybe going to get into a fight on the playground. Mm-hmm. I definitely stood up for kids that played. I definitely stood up for myself. There were fights arguments that I got into over it because it had this weird stigma. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to see that that's been lifted, and I'm happy to think that I had something to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think is part of that stigma lifting? Is it, culture? We're seeing it now in Stranger Things. Is it just more people coming out and being like, this is a fun game?
Yeah, I think Stranger Things hitting the zeitgeist the way that it did, becoming as popular as it did in mainstream culture, so that the mainstream was asking those questions. Well, what is that? And what are those kids doing? Oh, is that Dungeons & Dragons? How do you do that? What is that? And so I think that really helped. And then I think the other side of it is, I think when people see that maybe people that they didn't think played, openly saying that they did, I think that, it just eradicates the stigma. I mean, hopefully someone out there is like, saying, oh, well, he plays it.
Yeah, it must be fine for me too.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
And what do you think the future for D&D is? A movie, more video games? What do you think in there?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to see it on screen, but wants to see it done well.
Yeah.
Because it has been on screen before.
Yeah.
And people were not happy with it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a matter of not only getting it going just in some form, but getting it going in a way that's going to be satisfying, not only to the diehard fans, but also to the mainstream that has grown to love things like Game of Thrones, has grown to love things like Lord of the Rings. So you want to appease those. I always think, what could I get my wife to go see?
Yeah.
And my wife and I were glued to Game of Thrones every Sunday. Mm-hmm. So how do you create something that's going to capture everyone's imagination, not just the diehard fans? Like, we're cool. Like, all you have to do for the diehards, make something cool. Just make something that they're proud to say, that's what I do. Mm-hmm. That's the thing I've been playing since I was a kid. That's all you have to do. And the rest of it is like, just make a movie that my wife wants to go see.
Would you want to be Arcan in it?
Well, I mean, I'll do his voice. I mean, he should probably be CGI. Yeah. But he was a man before he was transformed by Tiamat's magic. So I could maybe play him like in the beginning, but we'd have to switch out and go CGI. Maybe we'll get Andy Serkis. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I would do it. Yeah.
That'd be badass.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. And guys, check out Death Saves. There's tons of awesome stuff. Check it.
Demogorgon.
Yeah. Do you want to look like that? Check out Death Saves.